Okay.
Eat my lunch.
Psychologists have found that candidates for top political offices who blink excessively during televised debates are judged by viewers to have done less well than competing candidates who exhibit average blink rates. Okay, so they found this evidence,
What did they found?
They found that candidates for these top political offices, the ones who blink excessively during these like TV debates are then judged by viewers who think that they have done less well than competing candidates who just blink averagely.
Okay. Break that down simpler. Essentially, they found that candidates that blink excessively do less well than those that blink average. That's all you need to know, right? Like,
okay, cool.
Moving on.
Any impact this phenomenon has on election results is surely deleterious. Okay, so any impact this phenomenon has, I guess the perception of blinking excessively compared to blinking average has on election results is, I don't know what deleterious means, but I think
it's so like,
I just think it's not good. Like, I just know it's not a good word.
Yeah,
so
really, yeah. And then I would go on and hopefully like we get some context clues to
yeah that. Many features like knowledgeableness, confidence, and so forth contribute to a political official's ability to perform well in office. Okay, so these two examples and more contribute to one's ability to perform well, but having an average blink rate is certainly not a feature. Okay, cool. All right. So we like forget the blink rate research or evidence. Which of the following, if true, most weakens the argument? Okay. Well, what I'm thinking is like, if I'm prephrasing, I'm thinking like,
what's our conclusion?
Oh, our conclusion is that any impact this phenomenon has on elections result is deleterious.
Yeah, so we're saying any impact that this phenomenon or this thing has on election results is bad.
Yeah. And so what I'm thinking is like going in to weaken it, it's like maybe blinking excessively has some sort of impact.
Yeah, excellent.
Voters' judgment about candidates' debate performance rarely affect the results of national elections. Wait, hold on. Voters' judgments about candidates' debate performances rarely affects the results of national elections. Does rarely mean like
hardly ever?
Hardly ever, like sometimes?
Not often.
Okay, yeah. So like sometimes affects the okay. I don't think that's like enough to weaken the argument that like blinking excessively.
Almost never.
Yeah, almost never is like rarely.
Yeah, really affects the results. I feel like this one I actually left open the first time because I was like, well, if people's judgments don't impact the national elections, then why are we worried about it?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you want to cross it off, that's totally fine.
Because I think if we're looking at like weaken, right? Like we want to look for like stronger language.
But I think the fact that it rarely affects it is strong. Like we're saying that, but we're essentially saying like voters' judgment hardly ever impacts national elections. I mean, I would wish for something stronger. Truly. Okay. I personally left this one open the first time.
Okay. Blinking too infrequently during televised debates has the same effect on viewers' judgments of candidates as blinking excessively. Okay, we don't talk about blinking too infrequently. We just talk about the average. We talk about the average versus like excessive. So I don't think
right, but we gotta bring in new information here.
So no, I know, but I just don't think that like what B is saying is going to weaken our argument.
Right, even if this were true, that doesn't mean that blinking is like a bad phenomenon against the, like it's just saying like, hey, infrequently and too frequently are both bad. That has nothing to weaken our argument. We're not comparing the right things.
Yeah. Okay. Excessive blinking has been shown to be a mostly reliable factor of a lack of confidence. Okay, so my prephrase is that excessive blinking has some impact on election results. So it talks about confidence, which contributes to an official's ability to perform well in office. But if they blink excessively and it's an indicator of lack of confidence, doesn't that mean then they may not be able to perform well in office?
Yeah, so I really like C.
Okay.
And I like C over A now, where I'm like, okay, now I'm okay crossing A off because it's not strong enough.
Okay.
Okay.
And then candidates for top political offices who are knowledgeable also tend to be confident. Okay. Like that doesn't talk about excessive
Cool.
blinking
Yeah.
or
Right.
that's out. Viewers' judgments about candidates' debates performances are generally not affected by how knowledgeable the candidates appear to be. Okay, but that still doesn't talk about the excessive blinking.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What did you say for this one?
But A. And the thing was is that I for so I this is why I had to go back to the basics because I forgot that like with weaken or strengthen, like you are not always necessarily like trying to like disprove the conclusion, right? Like
Right.
you can attack the premises that don't support the conclusion because there's like obviously a gap there.
Mm-hmm.
So what I had to do was I had to like remember that, do some drilling, and then when I went back to this, I was like, oh, I see how C attacks the many features aspect, which is his support for his conclusion. And if you attack that support, then the conclusion is destroyed.
Yeah.
And so, because my mentality of this was like, destroy the argument, but I wasn't thinking about like ways to destroy it.
Yes. Okay.